San Angelo, Texas, a town known for its quiet charm and small-town charm, is shaken to its core one fateful morning. In a dark alley behind a dilapidated apartment complex, a horrific scene unfolds. A frantic 911 call brings the police, and with them the Texas Rangers. What's the report? Something fishy has been dumped, literally. The officers approach a large green dumpster, the air thick with a putrid stench. In the far corner, the first responder later recounts, there's a blue plastic tub. And inside. The narrator pauses for dramatic effect. The body of a woman bound, wrapped in linen, dead. The stench of pine cleaner clings to the air, a futile attempt to erase the brutal truth. A gunshot wound to her temple, the bullet passing just in front of her ear. But who was she? The linens gave no answers. The body carried no identification. The first challenge was both difficult and important. As forensic teams worked the scene, officers noted her tattoos, special ink that might hold the key to solving the mystery. A photo of her face, along with detailed sketches of her tattoos, was circulated to every law enforcement agency in the area. Hours passed in tense silence. Then, a tip came in. A police officer recognized the tattoo from a mugshot database. The victim was identified as Camille Vega, a 32-year-old woman with a history of petty crime, drug use, and strained relationships. But the tattoo wasn't the only clue. Camille had been photographed with a notorious man, Mateo Calderon, a name that sent shivers down the spines of San Angelo law enforcement. Mateo Calderon wasn't just a thug. He was a familiar figure in the town's criminal underworld, with a criminal record that included drug dealing, gang activity, and violent assault. Detectives quickly zeroed in on him as a person of interest. But getting to Mateo wouldn't be easy. Police set up surveillance at his known residence, hoping for a slip-up. The incident occurred as Mateo left his home in his car. The officers spotted him making an illegal turn, giving them the pretext they needed. They stopped him. Mateo was unlike most suspects. When the officers approached, he did not panic, nor did he attempt to run. Instead, he made a strange request. "I need to talk to whoever is in charge," he said, his voice calm but cautious. Why did he want to talk to the lead investigator? What did he have to say? They escorted him to the police station, and the interrogation began. The room was dark. Sitting across from the detectives, Mateo remained calm. But as they questioned him, his reactions became more bizarre. "Do you know Camille Vega?" one detective asked. Mateo leaned back, squinting. "I don't know, maybe," he replied, his voice calm but inscrutable. The investigators pressed on, sensing an opportunity. After hours of evasive answers, they decided to change tactics. "Let's take a break," one of the cops suggested. "Let's go outside and smoke a cigarette." Sometimes, the simplest gestures can break through the toughest shells of backslash. Outdoor noises, crickets chirping, cigarette lighters. Under the dim light of a street lamp, Mateo finally begins to speak. He describes an argument with Camille that escalated out of control. Details are few, but one chilling line stands out. "She pushed me too far. I didn't mean to, but..." Mateo pauses, his voice trailing off. The detectives know they're close, but they need more, something concrete. Back in the interrogation room, they ask him to prove what happened. The scene is reenacted. Using a detective as a stand-in, Mateo demonstrates how he and Camille fought. He claims it was self-defense, that Camille lunged at him in a fit of rage. But his actions don't match the evidence. There were no defensive wounds on his hands or arms, nothing to suggest he had fought for his life. When the police entered Mateo's home, they were greeted by the strong smell of turpentine. It was clear that someone had tried to disinfect the scene. But the facts could not be erased. Beneath the couch cushions, they found blood spatter. A bullet hole in the back of the couch matched the path of Camille's fatal wound. Even more damning? Linens identical to those wrapped around Camille's body were found in Mateo's laundry basket. The pieces of the puzzle fit together coldly. Mateo Calderon had brutally murdered Camille Vega. Mateo's defense was as bold as it was hollow. He claimed self-defense, insisting that Camille attacked him first. The prosecution unraveled his story piece by piece. They played his taped confession, in which he admitted to the killings. They showed photos of the crime scene, the bullet holes, the bedsheets. And they emphasized that he was uninjured, evidence that there had been no struggle. The jury didn't have long to deliberate. Mateo Calderon was sentenced to life in prison without parole. For Camille Vega's family, the verdict was bittersweet. Justice had been served, but it didn't bring Camille back. The dumpster murders will forever be seared into the memories of those who solved them, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurks in the most unexpected corners. In the end, the lead investigator said, "Justice cannot erase a tragedy. But it does ensure that whoever is responsible will never do it again." Even with the verdict, the shadow of the case lingered in San Angelo. For weeks, people whispered about Camille Vega and Mateo Calderon, the vibrant but troubled woman who met a gruesome end, and the man who had violently stolen her future. Camille's family, once divided by her struggles, came together to remember her. At a small vigil in the park where Camille often took her niece, candles flickered in the dark. Her sister said quietly, "She wasn't perfect, but she was ours. No one deserves to end up like this." But for investigators, the case has not been forgotten. Many have reflected on how the crime almost slipped through the cracks. A dumpster in an alley is not the place anyone would expect to find the full weight of human tragedy. The case has also sparked a broader conversation about domestic violence, manipulation, and the hidden dangers of toxic relationships. Camille's story has become a rallying cry for local organizations to fight to protect vulnerable women. Lieutenant Reynaldo Ortiz, the lead investigator, later said at a community forum, "We can't always prevent what happened to Camille, but we can do more to listen, to recognize, to act before it's too late." Mateo Calderon's cell at the Huntsville Penitentiary became his permanent home. He no longer had the demeanor of little acts. Fellow inmates often mumbled about his crime, an act of brutal cowardice disguised as self-defense. Camille's name now lives on, not just as a victim, but as a symbol, a warning that the silent cries of those in danger must be heard before they are silenced forever. Her story may be over, but its echoes are not.